Hey, YouTube, Big Six Podcast. We're about to do a mailbag. If you like what you see here and what's not to like with my handsome face and Breech's handsome face, no Brinson, hit that old like button, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell notification so you know when we go live because it happens frequently. Hey, everybody, Pick Six Podcast time. It's Mailbag Friday. As we're doing this, Breech.
Mailbag.
There it is. I didn't know if you're going to be able to follow the lead. You did it. Congratulations. It's me, Ryan Wilson, followed by John Breech. No Will Brinson, because apparently he doesn't work on Fridays, John. Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed that we're recording this on Good Friday, but it's Great Friday for us because we don't have to deal with Brinson.
I thought you could say Great Friday for Brinson because he's not working, but we know he's not religious at all. Breech and I just got back from church, so that's good for us. Debo, they missed you there, so hopefully next Good Friday you will be there as well. It's a mailbag show, just like last Friday. It's only me and Breech doing this bad boy, so let's get to it. First things first, leave a 5-star review with your questions on Apple for future mailbags, and we'll get around to them eventually because summer's upon us, Breech. Yeah, it's long off season. The draft is less than 2 weeks away.
Literally starting on May 1st, the day after the draft's over, Wilson's off for 6 months. He's like
May 3rd, because I have to do a 2023 mock draft.
All right. Wilson's like the groundhog. He just goes back into the hole unless he sees 2 more weeks of draft season, which doesn't happen because it is over. You're in the final stretch, the home stretch here, Wilson.
Sort of looking forward to it. It's funny. Like this time of year for me is Groundhog Day because either whether it's HQ or radio or podcast, I'm basically saying the same things I've been saying since like October. So I could do it in my sleep, which is good, but at the same time, you feel like Bill Murray, but a handsomer version. All right, let's get right to it. I'm coming to these saying Will Brinson Colts. Well, I haven't read them. I've got family over here. As I mentioned, Breech got a 4-month-old step niece. I don't know how she is. She's cute, so I'm trying to hang out with her. Let's do this from Maddie Mock on Twitter. What changes would each of you make to the NFL draft format? You want to go, Breech, or want me to go?
That's an interesting one. I'm probably going to steal all your ideas because that's what I'm good at. But you're coming in cold, so maybe I won't. My 2 changes are tied together. Number one, I think I've brought up this idea at some point, and it's mentioned multiple times in history, not just on this podcast, but in other spots. I think the 2 worst teams in the NFL should play a football game to see who gets the number 1 overall pick. That way, there's no tanking, because if you tank and you get the worst record, there's no guarantee you get the first pick. And that game would be played during the bye week between the championship round and the Super Bowl. Everyone would watch that. Who is not going to watch a game to see who gets the number 1 overall pick? And I know like the big argument against this is, well, why would the players try? There's no incentive because they're trying to play for someone who would replace them. If your team wins and gets the number 1 overall pick, they can only draft 1 player. They can't replace all 53 of you. So all the other guys are definitely going to try.
Yeah.
They're playing for next year, trying to keep their job.
What's the compensation would come into, like, why are these players playing? Not only like for someone to replace them, but money. What are you giving these players for that extra game? A game check?
No, I would think it would be similar to what teams get as their playoff share.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure what the playoff pool is, but I think you divvy up something. And I'm just trying to think of you're good with analogies, Breech, but would you be willing to like do the 3-day draft spectacular that you're about to do down in Fort Lauderdale? Are you going to give 100% Breechian effort if you know that the loser of in terms of who does the worst could possibly get replaced? Actually, it incentivizes you to do better.
Exactly. I want to be better. I'm going to write down all my lines, all my analogies. I'm going to write down like 8 pages so that I don't run out during my 3 days. It definitely incentivizes me to be a better at my job. So yes, Wilson. And then to add on to that, I think that the NFL should embrace the NBA system. And the teams that do not make the playoffs are all thrown into a hat. And then you pick names out after the 1 and 2. They play the games, those who get the top 2 picks. And then picks 3 through 18 are decided by picking out of a hat. And that is televised.
And then it's weighted and all that stuff. There's the possibility. God, let me check now because there's been so many trades. I think, does Debo's team have the 18th? Yeah, Debo's picking 18th right here. So there's a possibility that Debo's Eagles could get the 3rd overall pick, right? Yes. Even though they're 18th, they just missed the playoffs, and it's weighted as I just mentioned. No, I think that adds another level of excitement. I actually am really on board with the play. I think the injury thing That concerns me on some level because it's going to be an 18th game, right?
Yeah.
Two truly terrible football teams. But again,
But I mean, the team that wins the Super Bowl is playing
Yeah, I
21
get it.
games if they go through the wild card round.
No, I get it. All
I
right.
think the only downside would be that the teams involved in that game, if they're playing between the championship round and Super Bowl, would have to practice for 3 more weeks. And so I think those weeks of practice, they would all be paid a playoff stipend. So they would get 4 weeks of extra pay.
Yeah, your answers are pretty good. Mine are more logistical in nature. The first one would be to speed up the freaking first round. Like we don't need
Everybody wants that.
10 or 15 or whatever. I don't even know what it is. It doesn't add any drama. All it allows for is for the network to fill time, the NFL to fill time during their network broadcast. And I get that. I get you're selling advertising on other stuff. That's one thing I would do. The other thing I would do.
First pick of the draft only gets 90 seconds. Because you've had all offseason to think about your pick.
Right. And after that, honestly, 5 minutes feels like more than enough time. And maybe you do something like Old School Millionaire where you can buy a lifeline and get an extra timeout or something. But we don't need to be there from 8 till 12:30. That's too much time. I want to see this thing happen. The other change, tell me what you think about this. What if, so the Super Bowl is February 5th-ish, we'll say, first week of February. Is it going to get moved?
Second Sunday in February now.
Actually, yeah, it's moved back to.
So now it's the 8th through the
Valentine's
14th.
Day. Yeah. All right. So let's say the Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
What if we had the draft on March 1st? Is 2 weeks enough time? Because the combine happens in anyway. Maybe March 15th. Yeah, I'll give you a month. So you have time for the combine. You have time for the pro days. I don't know if you need the 30 visits, but how much less BSing would there be if you think the draft happened 4 weeks after the end of the football season?
Where do you slot free agency in?
Oh, that's part of the process. What if you do it afterwards? What if you do free agency after the draft?
I think that's fascinating. And you get your cheap players first, the ones that aren't going to cost you a lot of money.
There you
and
go.
Then you fill your free agency needs after the draft. Like, I don't hate that.
I mean, I'll just throw out the NBA where if the NBA finals goes 6 or 7 games, the draft can be happening 5, 6, 7 days later. And then 4 days after that is free agency. So it's very tight together, but I kind of like that model of draft first and free agency second.
Let me ask this, Debo. How much of this
stealing all our ideas from the NBA?
Yes.
Okay.
How much of this nonsense with the player business and all that stuff does NBA have? None? They just draft guys?
Say it again.
Like, is there a bunch of visits going on? These players don't really do pro days or anything, right?
No, they'll have their work, not necessarily pro days at their campuses, but there's combines, one in Virginia, one in Chicago, and individual team workouts where these players are just visiting a bunch of facilities across the country. And that's happening as the NBA playoffs are going on. So the teams that are out of it can spend all their attention on it, and the teams that are still in it can spend a lot of attention on it too, because they're trying to improve their roster. So that's all kind of taking place. Imagine if, all that stuff was taking place for the NFL really in December and January instead of February, March.
Yeah. So I think that works for 22-ish teams. But I do wonder, the issue for me, Breech, is like if you're the special teams coach and you're playing in the playoffs, you don't have time to look at the kickers and the punters and the long snappers. If you're the wide receivers coach, same thing, because they end up watching all these guys. Maybe that's a logistical hiccup.
Yeah, you need time. And I think the other thing is, the NFL draft is a 3-day event made for television. And so the NFL is not going to want to put it up against the NCAA tournament. They take things like that into account. So if you do hold it in March, it would have to be around your date, the first or second weekend of March. So maybe you do that, and then you do free agency like the second Wednesday in April.
I actually like post-draft free agency.
Yeah, this isn't, Ryan Wilson's NBA when there used to be 12 rounds in the NBA draft. There is now 2 rounds, 60 picks compared to 7 rounds and 263 picks in the NFL. So that's a lot more scouting to
and by the way, so Debo, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I just finished the finishing touches on my 7-round mock draft, Breech. I had the Bengals taking wide quarterback, running back every single pick after last week's 3-rounder. But the hidden pain in the ass about these things, if you're doing them, but even when you watch it, is that with all these compensatory picks, it ends up being 8 rounds. There are about 30-ish. I have to go back and add them up, but about 30-ish extra picks through the compensation through rounds 3 through 7. So it ends up being 8 rounds of football draft. So that's just me complaining about my job.
Yes, Wilson, you do that a lot.
All right.
There are 263 picks.
262. One was actually forfeited. The Saints had to forfeit one. So
So
I didn't want to call Debo out there.
Yes, that does give you 8 rounds of picks. A little over 8 rounds.
There you go. So as the NFL likes to tweet out, and actually we do it too at CBS Sports, when there's overtime, free football.
Free draft.
Unless you're working. All right, here we go from Stub67 on the old tweet machine. Oh, by the way, quickly.
Tweet.
How much do you want Elon Musk to buy Twitter? That's my question. That's not Stub67's.
On a scale of 1 to 10, $1 billion. I don't even care what he would do with it. He is just so eccentric that, he might kick everyone off and like make Twitter for cats. Like, you don't know what Elon Musk is going to do.
No idea. Like, Debo, how angry would Brinson be if he showed up to work Monday and he had 0 followers because Elon Musk bought Twitter?
I need it more than anything to make him transition to TikTok.
I don't know what he did, because he said the other day when we were doing the pod that he has a TikTok account, but he doesn't use it. I'm sure I can't imagine he does Snapchat, or he's on Instagram, but I don't think he uses it frequently. I don't know what's
unable to adapt.
What would be the next feasible alternative for someone like, in Brinson's social media wheelhouse? Because he's not doing dances and stuff.
Go back to Facebook.
Facebook.
Like it's 2007 all over again.
Facebook. All right, here we go. All right, from Stub67 on Twitter. He's worried about a Seahawks breach. Should he should they he says we, draft a quarterback in 2022? They currently have the 9th pick. Trade for Baker. C, wait for Jimmy G to get cut. D, put up with Drew Lock and draft a quarterback next year. E, draft Matt Araiza because, Pete Carroll and his love of fourth down. That's actually a good point. Take Matt Araiza in the first round because we know that Pete Carroll's putting his leg off. So let's start with A. They have the 9th overall pick. We've talked about this a lot. Draft a quarterback in 2022. Give me your 15-second answer.
My 15-second answer is don't do it.
All right, that's actually 3 seconds. So
sorry, did you want me to go 12 more seconds?
What would you, all things being equal, what would you take at the 9th pick if you could have access to anyone in the draft?
Well, I think that at 9th overall, and we've talked about how this is not a great quarterback class. And I think if you take a quarterback in the top 10, you're reaching. And so don't reach. There's no reason to reach, especially for a quarterback. We've seen it. You've brought up multiple times the Daniel Jones pick at number 6, how number 6, it looks like a bust if he doesn't get them to the playoffs soon. And we're getting there. He could improve with a new coach in place, but we don't know yet. But if the Giants had taken him at 16th, then that pressure is gone. And so I just don't think the Seahawks should take a quarterback in the top 10. What I do think they should take, of the options on this list, if I could just pick any of these options, I would pick B. Trade for Baker Mayfield. That is your best shot at winning games. I'm glad
you brought up Baker, because I want to ask you this. So Baker did a podcast recently, the You Never Know podcast, and he said in part that he feels disrespected 100% by the Browns. He also said in a clip that I actually thought was pretty funny that I saw on Twitter, like he would love to go to some dude's cubicle and just boo the ish out of him and see how he reacts. And people were like, Baker's being a baby. I just think it's hilarious. I think there's some of that. I mean, you see it on social media where people have all these muscles, and then when they get called out, they back down immediately. I think Baker's just probably tired of hearing that. I think if it comes from someone, if it comes from Case Keenum, people laugh. If it comes from Baker, you're like, he's being bitter. And I don't know if he is. How concerned are you about his comments? He also said, and I'm reading the quotes from The Athletic that came off this podcast. I was told one thing and they completely did another. Baker talking about the Browns. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. And he's currently still a member of the Browns, who have Deshaun Watson and also Jacoby Brissett. Baker's ready for the next chapter, the next opportunity. The only thing I'm guaranteed at the next stop is 1 year. So I guess he's assuming he's going to, because they picked up the 5th year, right?
Right. That's all he has left on his contract. So if it's traded, that's where he's at.
Yep. It's something to put on my resume for the next job, whether it be I play that year, wherever it's going to be, and they extend me for longer, or if it's that year and I get picked up somewhere else. I know I have this 1 year to do as much as I possibly can. I'll just say this, and then you tell me what you think. Pete Carroll, more than anyone, just about feels like, maybe even Bill Belichick, handles guys who have had rocky past pretty well. Do you think that's a good fit in Seattle, given their offensive line is horrific, and Baker's coming off what feels like 8 or 9 injuries from the way he got beat up last year?
Well, I think that the Seahawks, Baker could play the type of football the Seahawks want to play. Pete Carroll was trying so hard to not let Russ cook, trying to wrestle that spatula away from him. Get out of my kitchen, Russ. We're running my style of offense. We're playing my football. And I think, Baker Mayfield's not even half as mobile as Russell Wilson. So you don't have to worry about Baker trying to play that type of football. And, the thing I would ask you, Wilson, is can you say for sure that a Malik Wallace or a Kenny Pickett or a Matt Corral or any of these guys are going to be better than Baker Mayfield?
No.
Or are better?
I don't know if I was telling you the last time we spoke or I was telling Brinson on the podcast we did, but I was talking to a coach in the league about this, and they would rather have Baker or Sam Darnold over Kenny Pickett in Carolina, for example. I would rather have Baker. I don't hate Baker.
And if you can get Baker for a 5th round pick, there's no reason not to try that out for a year.
I think Florio was floating this idea a couple of weeks ago when the Deshaun Watson things were getting finalized. I think Jacoby Brissett had already been signed as well. But they're going to have to cut Baker because no one wants him, and then he's going to go sign with the Steelers. I love the idea of Baker Mayfield playing for the Steelers. I don't hate that. Debo, where are you at on Baker? Like, if he were to be, do you like him better or worse than Gardner Minshew as a backup to Jalen Hurts?
Oh, Gardner brought into the conversation. I would take Baker if I'm being honest, but I'll go back to a mailbag last year where you guys kind of came at me because we ranked Oklahoma quarterbacks, and how we would see them over the next 5 years, and it was Baker, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and actually Spencer Rattler was in that conversation.
How'd that go?
And I put Kyler, Jalen, and then I said Baker and Spencer tied, which you at this point are putting Baker ahead of a guy that has an uncertain future. But you crushed me for putting someone like Jalen ahead of Baker.
Yeah, that just goes to show we don't know what we're talking about. That's all that. And by the way, do you remember that, Breech?
No.
Yeah, that's it. Debo could be making this up. How do we know he's telling us?
Brinson had Baker 1, Kyler 2,
Rattler,
and then Jalen Hurts. I just remember Brinson's bad takes.
Good.
More than yours.
Let's leave it at that.
How does your brain have any room left for anything else, Debo?
So, is Jimmy G going to get cut, do you think? Do you think they keep on the roster if he does, for fear? Maybe they don't care. Would San Francisco be at all concerned about Jimmy G going to Seattle?
I don't think they want him in Seattle. I don't think they cut him either. You can't, the guy just led you one game short of a Super Bowl that if your defensive back doesn't drop an arm punt from Matt Stafford, you're in the Super Bowl. So I don't think you are giving away Jimmy Garoppolo for nothing.
Would you rather have Jimmy G on that Seahawks team or Baker?
Baker.
Yeah, I think so too. Put it with Drew Lock in 2023 and then draft a quarterback. I don't even know. God, who's the backup as we sit here? Do you know, Breech, off the top of your head as I look?
Geno Smith, who just
he's
signed a
still
new deal yesterday on Thursday.
All right, so you have Geno, and then you have Drew Lock. And honestly, I would imagine Lock is better than Geno. Debo knows how much I love Geno Smith, so maybe he doesn't beat him out in training camp. Are you willing to, at 9, take the best player, and then, as you noted, then come back in 2023 and get a quarterback if that's what needs to happen?
No.
What do you mean?
No, I don't want to let Drew Lock play this year. I want
you're playing as
Baker Mayfield. That's it.
Okay.
I'm getting Baker Mayfield. I'm not drafting a quarterback. If I can get Baker Mayfield for a 5th or 6th round pick, that's a no-brainer. I don't see why anyone...
What about a 3rd round pick?
And then it becomes a little more touchy, but probably yes.
I think 4th round is the sweet spot. They have the 109th pick. I don't know if it'll be this year or a future pick, but I think I would give 109th that pick up for Baker Mayfield.
And also, I do love option E here, which is just draft Matt Araiza and let him and Michael Dixon punt on 3rd down, pin everyone at their 1-yard line, let your defense do the rest, win every game 6-3.
By the way, Debo, Cody Ryan in the chat, who is clearly you, says he remembers you making that proclamation. So
shout out Cody.
Debo's already got his burner.
All right, here we go. From our buddy Dominic, he asks on Twitter, with Jeffrey Okudah underwhelming and coming off an Achilles injury, would it make sense for the Lions to draft Sauce Gardner at number 2 over somebody like Aiden Hutchinson or Trevon Walker? So, man, I love Jeffrey Okudah coming out. He just could not stay healthy. So let's take a look, Breech, at who else is in that secondary for Detroit. They do need help on the edge, but how seriously would you consider about taking Sauce Gardner, who feels to me like he's going to be, and who the hell knows because we don't know. I think he's going to be better than Patrick Surtain. and I thought Satan was really good last season. Would you take him number 2 overall? As we sit here, the Lions have Okudah. It just hasn't worked out. It's driving me crazy. They have Mike Hughes, who's on a one-year deal. Amani Oruwariye out of Penn State's in the final year of his rookie deal. Ife Melanfanu out of Syracuse, who I actually liked a lot. I think he was 3rd or 4th round pick last year, injured a little bit. And so not a lot of depth there. They have some young guys, but not a ton of depth. Would you go that direction, or would you still want to stick with Aiden Hutchinson or Trevon Walker? They have Romeo Okwara. They have Julian Okwara's brother as well as off the edge. They have Charles Harris, who you've talked about before, actually playing really well in Detroit after struggling early on in his career. And that's about it in terms of guys who can get after it consistently and have shown that they've been able to do that.
Yeah, and when you say that's about it, that seems like a problem. If they did draft Gardner, I wouldn't have an issue. I'd give that probably like a B+. Like, he's a good corner, should be good in the NFL. Is almost certainly going to be a top 7 pick. But when you look at the Lions last year, they had 0 pass rush. I think they had the 3rd fewest sacks in the NFL. And if you don't have any pass rush, you're going to have this rookie corner who's going to be out here covering guys for like 7 seconds. And that's just a lot to ask of a rookie corner. So I think you need to beef up your pass rush before you beef up your secondary. If you're the Lions, I don't feel the exact same way for every single team. I think they're all, you look at them, their situations individually. But the Lions, I'm probably going with the pass rusher first.
No, I think that's right. Even in general terms, because an average corner is a lot better with an awesome pass rush, and a great corner is still going to get burnt if you don't have anyone getting after the passer. So I think that's the math you have to do. Would you rather have Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey?
Ooh, Aaron Donald.
I think so. Even though he plays inside, he's so disruptive. I think so. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back and do some more of these mailbag questions. All right, Breech from Bruno 011984.
Wilson,
Yeah.
We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. You got a 4-month-old up there. You're going to know that in about a month because you're going to watch
It is
that.
hilarious. My wife said she was at the grocery store this morning, saw one of her friends she hadn't seen in a while who has a young daughter or a young son. I'm not sure. Like, probably the same age as your daughter. And she brought up Coco. What's Coco called? Coco Melon? What's that?
Yeah, Coco Melon.
Yeah. And my wife's like, I don't know what that is. I said, I know what it is only because Breech talks about it because it's actually a YouTube show, right?
It is a YouTube show, but it's now on Netflix.
Dang, way to go,
Matter of
Coco
fact,
Melon.
I can hear it upstairs in my house right now.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, back in the
Baby
day.
is watching her pre-nap Coco Melon.
We actually lived in a world, like my son was born in 2007, my oldest, and the other one was born in 2011. And they watched a crap ton of YouTube now, but that wasn't part of the child rearing process for me. It was just old school, like Nickelodeon shows and whatever those other things were.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's all good. I don't have Coco Melon.
Sorry, my life's easier, Wilson.
So Bruno, who we don't talk about, asks, what's Lawrence worth in a trade? So hello, greetings from Brazil. Hello, Bruno. He loves his show. Bruno, I'm not sure you get the right show, but I appreciate it. Let's say the Jaguars draft a quarterback with the 1st overall pick. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome. What is Trevor Lawrence worth in a trade? So what was the Deshaun Watson details?
3 first-round picks.
It was 3
That's
first
the
round?
headline, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they exchanged.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
it was 3 first-round.
Oh, okay. I thought you were having a stroke over there. You quit talking.
No, I was trying to. It was 3 first-round picks.
Okay. I feel like
plus a couple more.
Please, God, let them take Kenny Pickett first. That would be so amazing. So whoever your quarterback is, I don't care who it is. They can take any quarterback first overall. They think that's Doug's guy. I think the conversation for Trevor Lawrence has to start with at least 2 firsts and a second. I don't even know if that's enough. I was going to say three firsts. Maybe that's too much. 2 firsts and a second. What do you think, Breech?
Yeah, I think 2 firsts makes sense. That's probably where the conversation starts. But it just depends how desperate teams are. Like, what do you think David Tepper would be willing to give up? Just take all our draft picks for the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like David Tepper is giving up 3 first-round picks. I feel like Arthur Smith would talk Arthur Blank into giving up 3 first-round picks for Trevor Lawrence. What about this? 2 first-round picks and Kyle Pitts. Would you do that?
What about Jacksonville calls up the Cardinals and says, Kyler Murray straight up for Trevor Lawrence?
I think the Cardinals.
Think they do it?
I think the Cardinals make out in that deal.
Really?
Because it's only going to cost you Kyler Murray. He doesn't want to be there. He's got we must have 2 years left on his deal now, but he clearly wants a new deal. And you get Trevor Lawrence, who's not 5'8", who didn't complain at once last year, playing in the worst environment in human history under Urban Meyer. So he'll be happy to be in Jacksonville. In Arizona. Yeah, I think if you're Jacksonville, you want Kyler Murray and some draft picks because you got to pay him.
Yeah, and I don't think the Cardinals want to pay him. I think they're on the fence about this.
What about football team? Do you trade Carson Wentz for Trevor Lawrence?
Jacksonville would take Carson Wentz. They would be like, "You keep Carson Wentz. Give
a little Doug reunion."
Yeah, a little Doug reunion. I'm trying to think who else. Like the Steelers should give up 3 first round. The Steelers, I would be on board with giving them. I don't know what the cap is. I know that you have the. If you give up 4 first round picks, I would give up 4 first round picks for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Let me put it to you this way: would you want the Steelers to give up 4 first round picks for Trevor Lawrence as a Bengals fan?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're crazy.
You have Trevor Lawrence and you have no more first round picks for 4 years? Yes, I want that.
Interesting.
Do we know that Trevor Lawrence is a huge step up, professionally speaking, from Mitch Trubisky?
We don't, but I know what Mr. Trubisky's done in his NFL career.
True.
Right? Debo, would you want the football team to give up 3 first round picks for Trevor Lawrence?
Probably not. No.
Yeah,
that kind of definitely strengthens the quarterback play in that division. I mean, I feel like Breech said, you don't truly know what Lawrence is going to turn into. But if I had to bet, I think he turns out a lot closer to Joe Burrow than he does Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. What about the Seahawks, Breech? We just talked about them.
Yes, I would do that deal if I was the Seahawks.
3 first rounders?
I don't know if I'd give up 3 first rounders. I'd give up 2. I'm not completely desperate, but I'm kind of desperate.
All right. They're playing in a division where you have to have a franchise quarterback, and they currently don't have one. Love the question, Bruno, even though maybe it'll happen. I would love to be. Hopefully we're in the universe where it does happen because I want to see that in 2 weeks. All right, here we go. 13 seconds. No, via Apple Podcasts from Great Britain, specifically Scotland. What's the 13 seconds no refer to? Is that the Bills?
Yes.
Oh, that explains the headline. He's a massive Scottish Bills fan. Yeah, man, that was tough. Okay.
I went to Scotland once. Did I ever tell you about that?
Was that when you were over for the Women's World Cup?
No.
No.
But I won't tell you about it now. Okay. We need to answer this poor guy's question because he's still sad about the 13 seconds.
Did you have any shepherd's pie?
I think I did. Yes.
There you
go. At a pub in Edinburgh.
There you go.
You know what's funny is that it doesn't matter if that 13 seconds didn't matter because if the Bills win, they just lose to the Bengals the next week.
There you go. Feel better? 13 seconds no. All right, here we go. Massive Scottish Bills fan. Making a team of draft prospects, what record do you think they would have? Love the podcast and want to say that there's a massive NFL fan base growing in Scotland. Man, good to know. Debo, work on that. Get us over to Great Britain so we can do some live shows.
Good. Should I invite Brinson?
He's not going to come.
Okay.
I don't think Brinson likes traveling outside the country unless it's going scuba fishing, scuba diving, or whatever he calls it, off the coast, like the Bermuda or whatever. All right, so we've done this before, sort of with the Alabama picks, but they've been subsequently in the league,
right?
And I think that team, I think we said they would win 9 or 10 or 11 games, something like that.
Those were proven people.
Yeah, but the quarterback situation,
an all rookie team,
right? The quarterback situation would be like AJ McCarron, Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa. I think that was one of their weakest spots. So if it was a group of this year's draft picks, again, the quarterback situation would be a huge problem. Everything else, I mean, you're going to get you get athletes, which is great. Like I'm speaking specifically about the offensive line, guys that that aren't 35 years old and had 18 knee surgery. So the athleticism and the power and the strength, I think that'll be there along the offensive line. The defensive line, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Trevon Walker, Jermaine Johnson, that'll be fun. You have linebackers, Devin Lloyd and Kobe Dean, Channing Tindall, Quake Walker, all those guys that can run sideline to sideline. I mean, you have Derek Stingley, you have Sauce Gardner, you have Kyle Hamilton playing. I mean, so I think every position but quarterback is a concern. Now,
which is a huge concern.
Right. And I don't know how you mitigate that. I don't know. Are you playing? So knowing what you know, Breech, are you just starting whoever wins training camp? Are you going to have a situation where Malik Willis comes in and does sort of a Trey Lance thing, but more frequently? Are you going to have sort of he and Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett and whomever else sort of going series to series? Like maybe confusing the defense is your best option by rotating your quarterbacks.
Yeah, let each of them play a quarter. I probably have a training camp battle and let the best man have the job. But like you said, I mean, I feel like this team would be okay because offensive line, you have pass rushing, you have corners, like you have strengths everywhere where you need to have strengths, except like you said, at quarterback. I would probably put the over under on wins at 4.5.
I was going to say, yeah, because just the transition is so incredibly difficult, and you don't know if you're going to get Deebo Samuel coming out of South Carolina who hit the ground running, or if you're going to need a couple years to figure things out and go from there.
But also, like, is this team in the AFC South where they get to play the Jags and the Texans twice a year, or are they in the AFC West where they're winning 0 games?
Yeah, we'll put them in the weakest division. Does that change anything?
Maybe 5, maybe 6 games.
What were you going to say, Deebo?
I want to throw out like the 2021 rookies based on kind of how they performed last year, but I feel like this team, at least offensively, can stack up and be along those lines of 5, 6, 7 wins. But you go Mac Jones or Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the weapons are Jamar Chase, Jaylen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts. That's excellent. You got Najee Harris. Rashawn Slater was nearly an all-pro as a rookie. You throw Penei Sewell in there, Creed Humphrey,
nice.
Some other offensive linemen. Like you got the makings of a pretty solid offense right there. And then, I mean, Micah Parsons, maybe Barmore, Dafiowe, Surtain, Horn, Greg Newsome, some of those names. Like defense, I think, falls behind the offense there, but you can put up some points with that offense.
Yeah, no, I think so. The only thing you said that was disrespectful is that you would think about starting Trevor Lawrence over Mac Jones, but everything else I completely agree with.
How many times a game is Mac Jones throwing if he's got Waddle?
60.
Chase, Smith, Pitts.
They're not running the ball. Najee Harris gets 1 screen per game.
And he's doing the gritty after every single throw. Best gritty in the league. All right, good question. Massive Scottish Bills fan. Sorry about those 13 seconds. All right, here we go. From Omar Garcia, 71101. Love the pod. Listen to it religiously. Man, that always gets me. People listen to this thing over other things. But hey, I appreciate it. Give us a top 10 ranking projections for quarterbacks in the league 25 and under. So no Patty Mahomes. He's 26. Also rank your top 5 foods of all time. All right, 25 and under quarterbacks.
25. I mean, Josh Allen is 25. This doesn't say under 25. This says 25 and under.
I think we have to include that, right?
All right. So I probably have Josh Allen at 1.
All right, I have McCorkle Jones at 1. Go ahead.
It's my turn in this draft.
I'm trying to find the list of these names.
I take Joe Burrow.
Good Lord. Hold on.
I can.
Wait, why is that? Where are the young guys?
Do you want me to go again? I'll take Justin Herbert.
I'm trying to find a list of ages first, so just hold on.
Lamar Jackson.
There we go. Okay, here we go.
Kyler Murray.
Got it. Okay, so Josh Allen's number 1. We agree on that?
Yes.
Dang.
I think number 2 is probably the hardest.
Yeah, let's see. Ugh.
I feel like you have to go with Herbert, Lamar, or Burrow. And I'm biased. I'm 100% biased. I'm going with Burrow.
I'm going to go with Herbert, and then I'm going to go with Lamar, I think, and then I'll go with Burrow.
I'm going Burrow, Lamar, Herbert.
Herbert last? Wow.
No, he's 4th.
That's what I mean, out of that group.
We made a top 10. He's not last.
No, but out of those 3 names, you put him
Or
behind.
do you have him 2nd? You have him...
Yeah, he's number 2 for me.
And then Lamar, and then Burrow. You have Burrow 4th. Hey, guess what? Hey, out of your top 4, how many have been to a Super Bowl?
1.
1.
They've all won the same amount of Super Bowls.
And you've had them on the back of your list.
I can't even see
that
Joe
is
Burrow
crazy.
on the list.
You need to have people rank this.
How old is Joe Burrow? I don't even see him on my list.
Is he 26? He's not 26.
That'd be hysterical. I don't think he is.
No, he turns 26 this year. He's 25.
Oh,
he
okay.
turns 26 in December. So he's still if Josh Allen qualifies, Burrow qualifies.
That's 4. So now we have to choose from
we still have Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence,
Trevor,
Jalen Jalen Hurts, Debo's boy.
Jaylen, Mac Jones, Davis Mills. So I think it's
Daniel Jones, 25.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is on here too. I just sort of skipped over him. I think you go with who's the name you mentioned?
We have Kyler 5th.
Yeah, Kyler. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so Kyler's 5th for me. And then, so you're taking Trevor, Jaylen, Tua, Mac, Davis. I think that's the next group.
That's tough.
And, I mean, you can throw Trey Lance or Justin Fields and Zach Wilson if you want, but they haven't really played a lot of football.
I am probably taking Jalen Hurts next. Maybe 2. I don't know.
I think I'm taking Mac, then Jaylen, and then Tua. No. Are you taking Tua over Trevor?
I'm taking, or maybe I could take, I don't know. I take Jaylen, Trevor, Tua, Mac.
What?
Justin Fields, Daniel Jones.
You're taking Mac after Tua?
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to do Kyler and then Mac, Jaylen, Trevor, Tua. I can't believe you're taking that. How disrespectful can one person be?
I'm sorry.
Is that 10?
Sorry,
that must be 10, right?
We'll see what happens now that Josh McDaniels has gone to New England.
Debo, where do you have Jalen Hurts in the top 10 among 25 and under?
I mean, I am someone that still likes a guy like Justin Fields and like would be pretty high on his future versus someone like Jaylen, but I would say Jaylen over Tua. I feel pretty comfortable in that, going back to the old Alabama days.
I can't believe Tua's not last in Breech's list. How disrespectful. All right, that was tough. Let's see if this is tougher. Rank your top 5 foods of all time, Breech. All right, we'll do this one pick each and we'll keep going. So you want to start? Let's start with you can start with number 1. I don't know. It's hard. They're probably all close.
I'm going to go with, you know what my favorite food is? It is French toast.
That's a great call. Golly, there's so many categories too. All right, I'm going to go, I just love, real, old school, legit, homemade, not a bunch of preservatives, vanilla ice cream. I could eat gallons and gallons of that. Debo, what do you got?
Nothing on it?
I mean, I can load it up. I don't like load it up. I like put chocolate syrup on it. That's actually all I need. I don't need it to get crazy. But I'll just eat it plain. Plain is so freaking good. What do you got, Debo?
I'll go stereotypical and say cheesesteaks.
Ooh.
That's a
Philly guy to the bone.
Terrible guess.
Wasting his first round pick on cheesesteaks.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been picked in the next.
He just drafted 2 talking about lower first overall, and he had Trevor Lawrence on the board. All right, go ahead. Breech, number 2 to you.
Oh, it's not snake draft?
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Debo. Disappoint us again.
I'll go let's say chicken parm.
Are you? What is going on? This guy's crazy.
He's a sandwich guy.
I guess the guy loves freaking sandwiches.
Chicken parm. He just took a 10th round projection in the second round
after taking an undrafted free agent first overall.
This is a great list.
Go ahead. It's me.
Yeah.
What I said ice cream. Dude, I'm gonna keep it sweet. I'm gonna go with I love, and that's a great call on French toast. Breech. I'm going pancakes.
Ooh, you're going with the breakfast food too.
So
that's a good one.
Imagine for the rest of your life you can have ice cream or pancakes or freaking chicken parm and cheesesteaks.
I would rather throw up and choke on myself than have cheesesteaks and chicken parm.
No wonder Debo can't gain weight. He doesn't like any of the foods that he claims to like.
I'm going pizza.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like that should have been a first round pick. Fell to the second round right in my lap.
All right, go ahead, Breech.
Third, I'm going to take hamburgers.
Yep. All right. Is it Debo or me? Who's up? Debo.
No, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. All right. I'm going actually I'm going to include sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwiches.
Like an egg McMuffin?
Not from McDonald's, but a legitimately good one.
You guys are finishing your meals before 10 a.m.
I know.
Pre 10 a.m. and then post midnight for Wilson with that ice cream.
You eat ice cream any time of the day, man.
Putting his ice cream on his pancakes.
All right, Debo, disappoint us yet again.
Let's go with
Turnips.
Beets.
I'm gonna go tacos.
Oh,
that's a good one.
that's a first round pick. What is he doing?
Oh man.
All right.
Tacos. And then we'll go. I'm gonna throw a dessert variety out there, but like a chipwich, a cookie
Okay,
ice cream sandwich.
Now we're getting somewhere. You must have Googled these because those are the last two picks you're on point. Chipwich is underrated. What a good call. All right. Who's
Back
again?
to you. Back to you.
All right. What I last said egg sandwich. What else do I like to eat? Oh, this is like my best comfort food ever. And I even get this when I go out and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" Spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's
I can
four for
also
me.
see why your wife.
Yeah, you get spaghetti when they go to
like a fancy restaurant and you're just like, I want spaghetti.
I was thinking Golden Corral, but I still get spaghetti.
I'm like, sir, you can make spaghetti at home. No, I want it here.
Go ahead, Breech.
Breech, final two picks.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go. I saw the comment. Wilson Breech headed towards type 2 diabetes. I get it. I'm going to go with the healthy food. Just a good old fashioned apple. I love apples. I eat an apple. I literally eat an apple every single day.
Huh. I don't hate apples. I don't know. I don't.
Red delicious. People underrated apple. That's an underrated.
So you need it. It needs to be snappy.
Honey crisp.
You're not getting a mushy apple, is what you're saying.
No, it's got to be Pink Lady, Granny Smith. They're all delicious.
All right,
delicious.
Who's up? Me or Debo?
Breech got another pick.
Oh, Breech. Okay.
Okay. So my final pick. I need a dessert in there, so I'm going to go with pumpkin pie.
God, that's a great call. Oh,
I love pumpkin pie.
I didn't put pie. Oh, now I have a decision.
Oh, it's just all pie. Do I get all pies?
You can have all pie. I might have to get a variation of the pies. All right. Is it me or I don't even know who's next? Okay, sorry. 3 people. I can't keep up with the snake draft. Man, pie. Like my favorite pie. What's your favorite pie? Pumpkin? It must be.
Oh, it's pumpkin. I like apple, but pumpkin.
I was gonna say, like, I love pumpkin pie. I love apple pie. I love cheesecake. But I have so much sweets on this freaking list. I'm gonna go with sashimi / sushi.
Okay.
Get a little health food in there. I could eat pounds and pounds of raw fish.
That is impressive.
Although I'm not a caviar. Wilson doesn't roll that way. All right, I'm done. Debo, what do you
got? Just missing the list. Hard to leave this one off, but buffalo vegan tenders. But I'm going to opt for lobster ravioli as my final pick.
I wish I could hang up on you right now for saying
buffalo vegan tenders.
He's just being a jerk.
I'm not.
There's no way.
Like something you saw in Tom Brady's recipe book. Nobody makes vegan buffalo tenders.
He's not eating those things.
Is that made with like blended cauliflower?
Fire! You guys need to expand your taste beyond vanilla ice cream and plain pizza.
What about apples right off the tree, Devo? I mean,
apples. I feel like Breech was definitely pressured on that one. if he did not read the comments, he's not saying apples.
If we have any nutritionists listening or watching, we just need to make sure.
I thought it was because your parents would lock you out of the house and you had to pick off the apple tree in the backyard when they wouldn't let you back in.
It's because the baby's listening and she's going to eat whatever I tell her, so I can't just keep bringing up bad foods.
Like we didn't even bring up like I love Indian food. I didn't even get to that. Just because I love like stuffing my face with like sweets. I didn't mention cookies, which I also love. Oh man, what a time to be alive! Unless you're Debo, and imagine Debo being your like personal chef.
Come on, that list is undefeated.
Breech, rank our lists.
Debo's last.
Yeah, that's all I want to hear.
I mean, if we put these on Twitter, I'm not even sure Debo would get a single vote outside the city of Philadelphia because he has cheesesteaks.
Oh, man. All right, one more from Josh Alvarez. If y'all could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? All right, I'm going to predict that Debo kale. Like, that's what Debo's going to do. Breech, what are you going to – one thing. So it has to be – I mean, I guess you could eat apples the rest of your life, or you could eat apple pie the rest of your life. I would imagine you want some balance. But, hey, it's your call.
Well, I mean, it's got to be on my top 5 food list. If I can only eat one the rest of my life, I'm going to go with pizza. I think that here's the thing with pizza is that you can do whatever you want. You can have a dessert pizza. You could have a breakfast pizza. Guess what? If I'm not in the mood for the bread and the cheese, I'll just eat the toppings off my pizza and not eat the actual pizza. And so you can just keep changing it every single night. I'll put lettuce on my pizza if I need some vegetables. I'll put vegetables on my pizza. I'll put apples on my pizza if I need my apples with pizza. You just put whatever I want. So I'm going to go with pizza.
I think pizza is a great call. Like as much as I love ice cream and pancakes, I can't do that 3 times a day for the rest of my life.
Vanilla ice cream.
Oh,
Be
jeez.
dead within like a month.
Right. In a month. Like I'd be dead in a month. I think I'm going to have to steal your idea and go pizza as well. If I can't go pizza, what would it be like? Jeez. I can't eat sushi every day for the rest of my life. I think pizza allows you that variety. Imagine being, I'm sure Debo's gonna say something like salad. Imagine eating salad every day for the rest of your life.
No, give me like if Breech is bending the rules just a little bit, like give me like a poke bowl that has kale, some rice, some avocado, some edamame, some pineapple.
All right, that's a Debo. You've redeemed yourself. I'm going poke bowl. I'm stealing Debo's idea. I forgot about poke bowls. They're so good.
Wilson changing his answer from stealing my answer.
What about how do you say ACAI bowl? How do you pronounce it?
Acai.
Like, how about an acai bowl? That could have been in the first round too. The last.
Yeah, I need a little protein in there.
You throw some almond butter in there.
Yeah.
Bless you, Breech. Yeah, I think poke bowl is the way to go.
Wow,
Breech
did not
sneezes on
expect
mute.
that comeback for myself.
I know. Debo set the table.
I'm
Debo's the guy who starts the race and he runs like he's got 2 fake legs, and then the last 40 yards he just opens it up and sprints and smokes everyone. I see what you did there.
I mean, you're complaining about tacos, ravioli.
No, I love tacos.
Cheesesteak. What? Did chicken parm upset you?
At number 2, it certainly did. I was more upset by your first round pick, and then you pulled up that BS cauliflower based buffalo wing stuff. That's nonsense.
I can't believe half this podcast was talking about food.
Yeah, those are great questions. Man, food for thought. Look what I did there, Breech.
I loved it.
That is it for the Mailbag Show. Thanks for all the questions as always. Thanks for watching on the YouTube. Thanks for listening on the podcast machine. Mock Draft Monday is next.
Time to go eat leftover peeps.
Yeah, time to go eat some leftover peeps or pizza. You can put peeps on your pizza, Breech.
Yes.
There you go. All right, see you guys later.